Welcome to our video on August 2020 astrology forecast. Get ready for the full moon in the sign of Aquarius the water bearer on the 3rd of the month, and on the 19th there's a new moon in Leo the lion. Now Mercury ingresses into the sign of the lion on the 5th while in a direct station, and that's going to cause quicker information access, quicker access to messaging, and also it's going to be about new accomplishments and success. So it's going to be, the information is going to come quicker, and the information that comes quicker is all about success. Now Mercury then moves into the sign of Virgo on the 20th, and that's going to let you know that efficient daily routines are really worth your time and really worth your effort. Also, we're going to have a situation where, because everybody is spending more time at home these days, Venus's transit into the sign of Cancer the crab on the 7th makes family and community the center of attention and the main focus of your attention. Now Uranus goes retrograde on the 15th of August while journeying through the sign of Taurus the bull, and that's going to bring some new changes and some fresh insights on how money is made, and also how personal possessions are being handled by yourself and by those who you have in charge of those things. Now, so that you're going to be able to know when and which angelic forces to invoke or evoke, we're going to give you all the important planetary aspects, the ingresses, the archangels, also astrology charts, horoscope houses, station changes, and zodiac angels. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. I'm a Rosicrucian seer, biblical astrologer, Christian psychic, and Gnostic mystic. And this is a Readings by Rosemary angelic transmission. Now, the Astrology Angel magical invocation and the magic theory that we teach, in addition to the method of horoscope predictions that we also teach about, is a method that is something that really can cause strong effects in your life, because these are powerful angelic beings. So you want to use all mindfulness, since these are very powerful and potent forces of manifestation in the real physical world, and they're going to be unleashed when you utilize this magic. Therefore, this is kind of exclusively for entertainment purposes. Now we teach the horoscope prediction, the zodiac and astrology prediction, and the astrology angel magic. So people always ask, is this about magic or is this about astrology predictions? The thing is, asking if magic and if astrology predictions are different is sort of like asking if an inhale is different than an exhale, or if a systolic pulse is different than a diastolic pulse. It's basically, you can talk about them each separately. You can talk about when you inhale and all the things that go on, and when you exhale and all the things that go on, and the blood gases. You can do all that. However, if you want to get a good picture of things, and if you want to understand how real life works, we need inhaling and exhaling to live, and we also need magic and forecasting or prediction to live, because they're all intertwined, like day and night, and male and female, and black and white. Everything is intertwined. Everything works together in some way. And again, you can talk about separate things. So these are about both of those things, because in my experience, and because it's something I've taught a lot, you can't really separate them. Or if you want to have a good grasp of either, you need to be able to have a good grasp of both these things. That's what we really focus on. All right, now regarding the full moon in Aquarius on the 3rd, okay, that's going to affect friends and reputations, and that's going to happen at 3:59 p.m. That's Universal Time Coordinated, and that's tropical astrology. Now the healing musical note in the ancient Western arrangement for Aquarius is A. So we're going to play that for you now. Okay, we're going to play the A note for you. Okay, that's A, and that is for Aquarius. Now, also, the new moon in the sign of Leo the lion is going to be on the 19th, and that's going to be at 2:41 a.m. That's also UTC, and the healing musical note in the ancient Western array for Leo is also A. So there's a resonance because Leo and Aquarius are directly across from each other on the zodiac wheel. Okay, that's for Leo. So again, because they're the same note, because they're similar frequency, because they're exactly opposite one another on the astrology wheel, they're exactly opposed. Okay, and Aquarius is fixed air. You know, it's a water bear. It's fixed air, and Leo's fixed fire. Now, August full moon is called corn moon by the ancient, well, not really ancient, but the medieval English tradition. So it's corn moon, and it's the first harvest. It's also known as Lammas, and also known as Lugnasad, and also first fruits harvest. And we have made a video about that and a specific astrology chart just for that day, so that you can, if you're going to have a party or something for first fruits harvest or Lammas, you can go ahead and you can utilize the astrology chart that we've made and the correspondences and angelic invocations that we've given you for that, if you're going to have some kind of festival. So be sure to watch that video too, because we made that one for you. We uploaded that as well. Now, regarding the corn moon, again, that's what it was called for the first harvest in medieval England. Now, the next month's moon for that tradition, for the medieval, will be barley moon in September. Okay, now in some it's different with different cultures. Okay, because in some places they have harvest maybe a little earlier than others. Okay, so so for the medieval it was corn moon in August and then barley moon in September. And barley moon is like harvest moon for some other people. That's next month. So it's corn moon. Now the Wiccans call August moon wort moon, and the neo-pagans name August's full lunar phase, they call it lightning moon, because they're starting to have lightning storms. Okay, colonial Americans call August full moon dog days moon, and the Algonquins call it sturgeon moon. So, and sturgeon moon is used a lot by many websites that are dealing with the different moons, the traditional moons. Most of them use the Algonquin style, so that's called sturgeon moon. Okay, and the August bright moon, it's sort of it's a month when the season of summer is really being celebrated in various places and sundry places, and this is in the northern hemisphere. These are harvests in the northern hemisphere. And also, it's a traditional interlude of competition which began in ancient Greece. So that's where like the Olympics got its beginning in August, and the sportsmanship, okay? So that has to do with August. Now, this is an occasion and a celebration when Wiccans have festivals celebrating the richness of living and verve and vigor and of the earth. Also, neo-pagans enjoy very exciting summer storms of lightning and rain, which is, I love lightning and rain too, it's very exciting. And colonial Americans celebrate the dog star Sirius. We talked about that last time, heralding the annual flooding of the Nile rivers, which happens, it occurs on August 15th and 16th in 2020. So this year, on August 15th and 16th, is the actual rising of Sirius. Okay, and but of course it's celebrated in America on the 4th of July, because that's the tradition. On the 4th of July in 1776, that was when it happened, the heliacal rising of Sirius. So, and it's going to happen this year in 2020 on the 15th of August and the 16th. Okay, so some people like to commemorate the heliacal rising of Sirius. It's important for the Egyptian culture and for the flooding of the Nile River. And we talked about that last time. Okay, now it's an ancient Egyptian ceremony, the heliacal rising. Okay, and our country is based on Sirius, the star Sirius. Now Algonquins fish for freshwater sturgeon to add to their meals in August. So they look forward to that. So this is where all these things come from and why they're different in different places that have different animals and have different seasons and live in different places. So the people sort of celebrate what's around them and what they're used to, what they see and what they deal with, and their food and animal husbandry and their harvesting and planting seasons and those kinds of things. Now, we've made, again, that other video for you on Lammas and Lugnasa and First Fruits Harvest for August 1st, so be sure you watch that one. It's a very fun and exciting festival, and really, especially this year because of the intrigue stirring around double agents infiltrating new angelic and demonic alliances that are now being formed. And it's a fighting in heaven that comes closer to earth. So you want to really pay attention to that, because we've got something about all about sort of a battle going on within the angelic realm, and that is coming closer to earth. So make sure you watch that. Again, it's exciting and informative. Now, the guardian angelic forces for August 2020 include elemental archangel Raphael. So we're going to now talk about the ingresses and the full new moon. I'm going to go ahead and put back up the chart for the two charts for the full moon Aquarius and the new moon in Leo. So on August 3rd, we have a full moon again in Aquarius. It's akin to the natural 11th house. So Aquarius is akin to the natural 11th house here. And that's of friends and reputations. And the planetary archangel Gabriel of the moon, this is the Merkaba field for Gabriel, visits the abode of Zodiac angel Cambriel. Cambriel is for Aquarius, Gabriel is for the moon, planetary angel of the moon, and of water signs. Now, but since Aquarius is an air sign, you're going to want to use the air Merkaba field or something having to do with the archangel Raphael and or Cambriel. Now, elemental archangel for guardian for the Aquarian guardian angel Raphael, who presides over all of the air signs. Again, that's Raphael, the general guardian for Aquarius. Cambriel specifically for Aquarius, and Gabriel for the moon. Now, August, again, the full moon is called corn moon by the medieval English, and wort moon by the Wiccans. Neo-pagans call it lightning moon because of the lightning storms and the rain and the thunderstorms, and it's very exciting. And the colonial, we haven't had a lot of rainstorms. We haven't had really too much thunder. A little while back we did. A few months ago we had some lightning. But anyway, the colonial Americans, again, they refer to it as Dog Days Moon, because that's the helical rising of Sirius, and the Algonquins look for a sturgeon moon because that's when they find those fish. Okay, now on August 5th of 2020 we have Mercury ingress Leo, and which is analogous to the natural 5th house of children and creativity. And the planetary archangel Raphael of Mercury visits dwelling of Zodiac angel Virchiel. So again, Raphael is of Mercury and also is for all of the air signs. The Merkaba field for all of the air signs. And archangel of Mercury, and similar to Hermes Trismegistus, Thoth of Egypt and Atlantis, the god Thoth, and also Saint Paul for the modern traditional Orthodox Christian and Catholic types of traditions. Now, on August 7th, we have Venus, the planet Venus, ingress the sign of Cancer, the crab, which is similar to the natural 4th house of hearth, home, and family. And planetary archangel Anael is of Venus, and that is going to visit the habitation of Zodiac angel Muriel of the sign of Cancer, the crab. Now, it's interesting to note that the planet Venus, the archangel really Anael, but there's another tradition in some of the Middle Eastern traditions. We have the angel, the archangel of Venus is actually Lucifer, and he's called the Shining One, and Halil ben Shachar, and that's found in the book of Isaiah in chapter 14, verse 12. Also called Lucifer the bright and morning star in Revelation 22:16, and also called the morning star in Revelation 2:28. So again, you can use Anael for Venus, or if you're a different tradition, you can use Lucifer, or you can say the shining one. And also the Hebrew word for the planet itself is Noga, but the shining one and the bright and morning star and Lucifer and Halil ben Shachar, that is the angelic force, the powerful angelic force that you're going to want to use if you want to put a lot of oomph into the Venusian aspects for that August 7th Venus ingress Cancer, for that ingress, okay? Now we have on August 19th, we have the new moon in Leo. Again, that's in the 5th house. It's akin to the natural. It's akin to the natural 5th house, okay, of children and creativity. The planetary archangel Gabriel, who visits the abode of Zodiac Angel Virchiel of Leo, and again, Gabriel is for the moon. The elemental archangel for Leo, the guardian angel, the elemental angel for all of the fire signs is, again, the archangel Michael, who presides over all of the fire signs. And this is the Merkaba field for that, okay, for that. Now, we have August 20th, 2020. Mercury ingress the sign of Virgo, the Virgin, which is analogous to the natural 6th house of habits and health. And planetary archangel Raphael for Mercury visits the dwelling of Zodiac Angel Hamaliel for Virgo. And on the 22nd, the Sun will ingress also into Virgo, which is similar to the natural 6th house of habits and health. Planetary archangel Michael of the Sun visits habitation of Zodiac Angel Hamaliel. All right. Now, some people ask if Jesus is the bright and morning star, but Lucifer is also the bright and morning star, and so people often say that they're twins. It's probably just that people assign to a specific attribute, because a lot of esoteric Christians know that Jesus has to do with the Venusian current. He's a Venusian being, and of the Michael ray, of the 5th ray, of the Michael ray, okay? So therefore, it's like for the same being, which is, let's say, Mercury, you can say Mercury, which is a Roman god, or you can say Thoth, which is an Atlantean or an Egyptian god, or you can say Hermes Trismegistus, which is the Greek. I don't really call Hermes a god necessarily, but kind of a high ascended being, yeah. And then so you have the god Thoth, and then you have Hermes Trismegistus, an ascended master, and you have Saint Paul for the Christian tradition, also an ascended master. These are all the same current. Now, if you change the name, of course you change the frequency. Of course you do. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't generally fit into that category. So for Christians, using Jesus would be better for the bright and morning star, but it's the same energy, the same being. It's the celestial being who fell to earth, who fell to earth, like Prometheus, like Lucifer, the shining one, the bright and morning star, Jesus. It's the same being. Now, the reason, they say Jesus is the Messiah, but really for the Hebrews, the Messiah is like the full moon. And so that's more, and in the Old Testament it says his name is Emmanuel. Therefore, if you want to stick to what it says in the Old Testament, in the Tanakh, is Emmanuel is his name. So, and that would go more with the full moon. Okay? Okay. And then a blood moon that happens on a full moon during an eclipse would be the crucifixion thereof. So you see how these things work. So it's easy to throw names around, but you have to kind of look at where these things came from and what tradition and what culture you're dealing with. All right, now for the station changes, we have August 15, 2020, and Uranus turns retrograde while transiting to the sign of Taurus the Bull. And we're going to get into the planetary aspects here in a moment, so we're gonna go ahead and put that chart up for you, these planetary aspects charts, so that we can kind of show you which is which here when it comes to the sign that it's in. So again, the station changes on August 15, 2020. Uranus turns retrograde while transiting through the sign of Taurus the Bull. And Taurus the Bull is here. And there's Uranus right there, and it's going to turn retrograde. Now here it's direct, because this is the first. This chart is the first. But as we go on through the chart, you'll see that it will then go retrograde. So this is Uranus when it's direct, but this is where it is. This is Uranus, and this is in Taurus the Bull. Okay, so on the 15th, this will get a little, like a treatment sign, RX by it. And that's retrograde. Now what that's going to cause to happen is that since Taurus the Bull has a divine tone of I have, expect some adjustments when it comes to the management of income, profits, and assets. It's going to be very important. Now the planetary aspects. On August 1st, we have Mercury in Cancer. Mercury in Cancer is here. And that's going to oppose Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. Pluto retrograde in Capricorn here. And that causes direct and speedy messaging amongst family members, resist unexpected changes brought on by socioeconomic climbing up the ladder of success, and also increased popularity and fame. So that will be very important and exciting. Okay, unexpected changes brought on by increased popularity and getting more wealthy, and also becoming more popular. So that's going to cause speedy messaging. People are going to tell me, guess what happened? I got this much of a raise, or I got this many likes or views or whatever, that kind of thing. So people will be very excited about it. Okay, so you can expect a lot of speedy messaging about that. Now August 2nd, we have the Sun in Leo square Uranus in Taurus. Sun in Leo on the red line, square Uranus in Taurus there. And that's going to cause successful creative businesses are going to come into conflict with new scientific advancements bent on eradicating commerce. Okay, so successful creative businesses. So those who have businesses that are more creative in nature are going to conflict with new advancements, new technologies that are bent on eradicating commerce, that want to have everybody, just maybe like have some kind of universal minimum wage or something, that kind of thing. So sort of a communism versus capitalism kind of thing. And I'm not judging either one, because again, nothing exists in a vacuum. And just like you inhale and you exhale, there's also capitalism and communism. It's the same thing, systolic, diastolic. It's the same thing. You have to have both, male, female. You have to have both, day, night, or how can you tell one from the other? So both are necessary to have the entire thing. Okay, so that's what that's going to cause. Now on the 3rd of August 2020, we have, and that's going to be on the lower chart. I'm going to bring these in a little for you here, so you can see a little bit better. I should have done that earlier, excuse me. So I'm going to go to this chart now, and what we have is on the 3rd of August, we have Mercury in Cancer opposing Saturn retrograde in Capricorn. So Mercury I did it again. Mercury in Cancer, and that's going to oppose on the dark red line Saturn retrograde in Capricorn here. Okay, and that's going to have a straightforward communication and quick thinking when it comes to home and family matters. Go up against, or square off against, or oppose, or not really square off because it's not a square, but sort of opposite fight with, go up against overly rigid regulations set up to keep people locked inside traditional socio-economic strata. Okay? So there's going to be, a difference about that, okay? So people who think that it's good to focus on the home and the family and have quick thinking and a straightforward, direct approach when it comes to that and community, they're going to be opposite from people who set up regulations to keep people locked in their certain class. It's like class warfare type of thing. Now on August 4th, 2020, Mars in Aries square Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn. So Mars in Aries square on the red line, Jupiter retrograde in the sign of Capricorn, the goat. That causes quick talking salespeople determined to push their services and products onto targeted audiences clash with autonomous, hardworking individuals who just want to do it their way. And on the 10th, we have Mercury in Leo square Uranus in Taurus. So that's going to be another chart that I have made for you here. And we have, here we go. So on the 10th, and that's going to be the chart up here. There's the 10th. Nope. I did it. I got it on the other side, excuse me. Sorry about that. We have this one here. Excuse me, yeah, it's this one here. We have on the 10th in this chart, we have Mercury in Leo. Mercury in Leo is here, and that's going to be square Uranus in Taurus on the red line. Square Uranus in Taurus on the red line. And individuals who possess eloquence and an entrepreneurial type of flair come into divergence with those resolute on revealing once hidden economic truths. Okay. And on the 13th, which is also on this chart, on the 13th we have Mars in Aries here. Mars in Aries, and it's square on the red line, Pluto retrograde in Capricorn here. All right. That produces self-help products and services set their sights on rivaling the plans of established institutions that intend to afford popularity to everyone who desires it. So that's going to, people who are selling self-help products and services, and that's going to make them money to get people who want fame and popularity. Here's a service. You can do this service and use these products so you can get really popular. That's going to come into to conflict and square off against, because that is a square, against people who intend and have the ability and the technology to afford popularity to everyone who deserves it, or not deserves it, desires it. Because everybody might think they deserve it. Who's going to judge who deserves what? It's if someone desires it, then they're going to allow them to have it. So there's going to be people arguing, some people saying, well, they shouldn't be able to have as much popularity as they desire. They should have, there should be restrictions. And other people will say, no, why should they have limits on how popular they can be? Because they're not hurting anyone. It should be unlimited, just like mathematics, unlimited. And they do their thing, and the numbers are unlimited. And, there's no limit, because in mathematics there's no limit. That kind of thing. All right. On the 16th, and we have the 16th on this chart. Okay, so we have the Sun in Leo, trine Mars in Aries. So Sun in Leo on the blue line, trine Mars in Aries, the Ram. Confidence in personal success makes gaining a competitive edge achievable. Self-reliance and confidence in personal success makes gaining a competitive edge achievable. And that goes right along with some people's intentions to allow people to have what they desire in a realm of popularity, and in that kind of thing. And it becomes achievable because the people want to sell their products, can work with those people, and they can figure out, because not everybody wants the same thing. Some people want a limit on what they can have because they get overwhelmed. And some people don't want a limit because they get depressed. So you have to find out what's actually and what's healthy for people. But a person should, any adult should be able to once they learn how to manage themselves, know when they're overwhelmed or when they're underwhelmed, and know how to find that happy medium where they can maintain happiness. And that's the goal of Kabbalah, which means to receive. So if you're always happy with your attainment, in a constant state of happiness, it's going to be different for everybody. It's not the same for everybody. It's going to be different for everybody. But the sensation is what's the same. Okay. So we have on the 17th, that's going to be a different chart. On the 17th of August, and that is this chart here, on the top one, we have on the 17th of August, we have Mercury in Leo here. Mercury in Leo. And that's going to be trine on the blue line, Mars in Aries here. And the speculators looking for high yield returns give a boost to gaming industries. Also on the 17th, Sun in Leo here is going to be conjunct Mercury in Leo. They're both here in Leo. What that will create is newfound self-determination puts wind in the sails of providence, divine providence, and being in the right place at the right time. That's newfound self-determination really put the wind in the sails for being in the right place at the right time, finding good fortune, good luck, and divine providence will come to those who desire it in that manner. Okay, and on the we have on the 18th, also on this chart, Venus in the sign of Cancer, the crab, a sextile on the green line, Uranus retrograde in Taurus here. Now Uranus is retrograde now that we're on the 18th, because it went retrograde on the 15th. So now Uranus is now retrograde in Taurus. And what that causes is sentimentality, this Venus in Cancer, sextile Uranus retrograde in Taurus, sentimentality around love and romance, both lost and found love and romance, eases tensions when clandestine financial realities are revealed. So this is where secret economic realities are revealed, and that causes a lot of sentimentality about people, romance that people find and the ones that got away too. So it causes emotions and sentimentality. All right. Now we have on the 24th, which is here on this chart, of August 2020, Mars in Aries, square on the red line. And that's going to take us to Saturn retrograde in Capricorn. You're on the red line, Saturn retrograde in the sign of Capricorn, the goat. Sharply heightened gut feelings, those gut feelings that you get, compete against rigid regulations and self-discipline. So your gut instincts versus your rigid regulations and self-discipline. So those are going to be the things that score off against each other within a person, or people that are like that will score off. Okay, and then on the 25th, that's also on this chart, Mercury in Virgo trine Uranus retrograde in Taurus. So Mercury in Virgo, and it's going to be trine on the blue line, Uranus retrograde in Taurus here. Okay, that causes exacting perfectionism, that Virgo perfectionism, along with measuring each aspect of important economic situations, significantly improves fear of monetary exposure and risk. Also on the 25th, Venus in Cancer here, opposing on the dark red line, Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn there. Emotionally sensitive people in regard to domestic relationships fight against their own family members that are hardworking, competent, and capable. So then we have see these emotionally sensitive types kind of opposing, not squaring off, but opposing, sort of on the same wavelength, but in an opposition to, like Leo and Aquarius, their own family members or their own spouses and partners and things that are hardworking, competent, and capable. So there's sort of those two things with the head and the heart, that kind of thing. All right, on the 27th, that takes us to another chart. And we're going to get that one for you. And that's here. Okay. So now we have on the 27th, on the top chart up here, we have Venus in the sign of Cancer the Crab, trine on the blue line, Neptune retrograde in Pisces there. Romantic types give a big boost to those who possess compassionate cleverness. And on the 29th is also on this chart. We have Mercury in Virgo is going to be trine Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn. That's also on the blue line. And notice these two trines on the 27th and the 29th. They're sort of in a parallel to each other, and they're both trines, which are very good aspects, very fortunate aspects. Now we're going to go to the 30th, the chart for the 30th, which is this chart here, this below one. We have on the 30th Venus in the sign of Cancer the Crab, opposing Pluto retrograde in Capricorn, and that's on the dark red line there. Okay? And forming a sort of a cross or an X, it's more of an X really, and in runes an X is a gift. So on August 30th, we also have Mercury in Virgo here. And we have opposing Neptune retrograde in the sign of Pisces the Fish, also on the dark red line. That creates idealistic and passionate individuals come into conflict with vulgarians. Vulgarians, not va. Vulgarians, hungry for power and control. I don't want to offend anybody. Vulgarians is just a term. I'm not talking about Bulgarians. Some of my best friends are Bulgarians. So vulgarians is a different term. Idealistic and passionate individuals come into conflict. It's opposing. The same wavelength, but up on the opposite side, with vulgarians hungry for power and control. So you got your sort of your idealists and your power mongers. You've got your hippies and your government officials or officers or police, that kind of thing. Those kind of things. They're in the same wavelength, but they come into an opposition or a conflict. So let's to understand that. Okay, now we're going to get into the terms for the Hebrew terms for the planets, and also for not only for the planets but also for the constellations, not the months, because that's different. We're going to get into which we give you every month, the constellations in the Hebrew name and the planet in the Hebrew name. Okay, so like we talked about Noga being for Venus, that kind of thing. So the Hebrew calendar associations for the Zodiac, which is Mazzaroth in Hebrew. We have the sun, which is Shemesh. You can say Hama, but I like to say Shemesh. Ingress, Virgo, and Virgo is Betula in Hebrew. And the full moon, Levana, and Levana is for the moon, and full moon is Kiseh or Shabbat or Moshiach. We mentioned that's the Messiah, like Emmanuel, and the Christians believe it's Jesus, but that kind of thing. Emmanuel, Moshiach. And Ingress, Aquarius, the constellation Hebrew is Dalit. The new moon, again, moon is Levana, and the new moon, or Rosh Chodesh, and which is why the new moon is important. And ingress into Leo, and Leo, the constellation is Ari. And then we have Mercury is Kokav, and ingress Leo is Ari, and Mercury again in August Kokav will ingress into Virgo, and Virgo Betula. And Venus, again, that is Noga. Venus can be Lucifer or Hillel ben Shachar, the shining one, the bright and morning star, Venus, but that's the angelic force, so the archangel Anaya or Lucifer or Hillel ben Shachar. But Noga is the planet, okay, not the angel, the planet. Noga. And ingress Cancer, which is the constellation in Hebrew is Sarten. And Mars is Ma'adim for Hebrew, and ingress, there is no ingress for Mars this month. No ingress for Jupiter this month, which is Zodiac in Hebrew. There's no ingress for Saturn this month, which is Shabbatai in Hebrew. And there is no ingress for Uranus, which is Oron in Hebrew. For Neptune, there's no ingress this month, which is Rahab, Neptune. And for Pluto, there is no Hebrew word, and there is no ingress this month. Okay. All right. Now, keep in mind that achieving goals and accomplishing phenomenal success through astrology, angel magic, supernatural interventions, and invocations are all possible if one knows when and whom to evoke or invoke or invoke. To invoke into yourself, to invoke into your magic or sacred circle, and to evoke is to call upon, like when I rang the chimes earlier, the bell, the tuning forks. Now, magicians must also consider how various planetary and zodiacal angelic beings will interact with each other, making sure to evoke, invoke the potent forces of light that will extend into various facets of the Magi's life, predetermined by her or him for specific purposes and alignment with true will. And magic must be taken very seriously, since it is an ancient method of manifestation intended for practical victories over constricting forces which set our 3D reality into motion. Magic has rules just like any other science, which must be devotedly applied to practice. Magicians strive not to break natural laws, but rather to understand how Mother Nature manifests her creation so that we're able to work in tandem with her. Information found in this document is based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah, taught to me by Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I have committed to memory. Please like, tap the bell for notifications, share, subscribe, and make friendly comments. Thank you for joining us, and please join us again.